What is up, everybody? Patrick Carr here with Blue Collar Media Group, and I've got two, again, very big powerhouses here in the blue collar world. I've got Mike Knott, and he is the integrations coordinator with CompanyCam, and then, of course, I've got David up there with JobProgress as well. And JobProgress, as you all know, is the CRM built for contractors by contractors. So the reason I wanted to get these guys together today is to talk really about integrations. If you weren't aware, you've got JobProgress and CompanyCam are integrated at some level together. So we're going to figure this out. I'm not exactly sure. I want to figure it out for listeners. And I'll start it off with you then, Mike. Can you, high level, just tell us what exactly is an integration between a company like JobProgress and CompanyCam?
Yeah, so I mean, at its core, like 30,000 foot view, an integration is just two softwares talking to each other, or two software programs talking to each other. Think about if there's you have something, one of your softwares is running with your Google Calendar, and whenever something happens in one software, it schedules something on a Google Calendar, for example. That's kind of what it is. Essentially, it's just the transfer of data and triggers across the tools that you're using.
Absolutely. And now, David, I know with the integrations, I know we may have spoken about it before, but what I think it sounds like the power of this integration is in the ability for somebody to use the information they gather within CompanyCam to better do stuff within JobProgress. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, I think our contractors as a whole see super value in CompanyCam's UI, their mission, their ability to focus on one thing and do it really, really well. And it lends itself really nicely to our mission to allow contractors to collect really great data up front so that they can use this data later on for any purpose, whether it be within CompanyCam, within their CRM, within outside tools. It's just a great partner of ours in terms of integration.
Absolutely. Now, Mike, I'm going to play a little bit as devil's advocate here when we talk about documenting jobs. The traditional way that people may look at it is I'm going to take my phone out. I'm going to snap a picture of the job. I'll snap a bunch of them. How is what you're doing with CompanyCam different, improved, and better than maybe the traditional route that a contractor out there is taking?
Yeah, so I mean, the big thing I would say is the 3 or 4 or 5 steps that you left out after that, right? Which is most contractors, you're documenting job sites really heavily throughout the process. But then after you've captured that, then you have to go through the process of pulling those photos off your phone, sending them to one person, putting them into JobProgress, trying to figure out what you're even looking at, right? And if you forget to do that in the moment, that happens a week later, all of a sudden you don't have any context for why you were taking those photos. So what CompanyCam does is just automates every step after the point of capture. So kind of the beauty of CompanyCam is the actual workflow is very familiar to people. It's essentially the same workflow as taking photos on your iPhone. But all of the steps beyond that are all taken care of by CompanyCam. And, then as we'll probably talk with David, does some additional stuff beyond just the organization and stuff like that.
When we talk about integrations then, David, am I understanding correctly that as long as you're working with a CompanyCam, those pictures integrate directly into a JobProgress, so you're not having to take a bunch of extra steps? Is that how that process works?
Absolutely. So let me just give you a little bit of background. There's a few different ways to quote unquote integrate. So there's companies like Zapier that connect two companies like a CompanyCam or a JobProgress on the outside as a third party. There's an open API, which we have, and we welcome hundreds of different companies, whether they be private or public, they can integrate. Our integration with JobProgress is by invite. We decided to personally integrate. It's a little bit of a deeper connection. And we do have the ability to use so for example, if you're integrated and you're using CompanyCam and JP, you create a customer and a job in JP, it's in CompanyCam and vice versa. Take photos in CompanyCam. I can guarantee you one thing. A lot of people say, oh, you could take photos on your phone. Why would you use CompanyCam? You could take photos in JP. Why would you use CompanyCam? I can guarantee you this. People instantly see the value of using CompanyCam to take photos because, like Mike was saying, the process is so superior. It's so close to the natural capabilities of doing it on your phone that it's even far superior than in JP. So why wouldn't you let contractors use the process that they like to capture. And it's that behavioral change. It's them wanting to go the extra mile to do the work to make sure they're documenting the situation before, during, and after a job. That's going to help them build up their business in a way that JobProgress wants to do after that fact, right? So in order to run your business. Does that make sense?
I'm sure you can organize your jobs on an Excel spreadsheet too. I'm sure it's capable of doing that, but
Right.
I mean, is it the most productive way now to be able to make that happen? So Mike, my question for you then is a simple one, but also somebody's watching this thinking, is CompanyCam right for me? You know, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician, I'm a restoration, I'm a roofer, I'm a landscaper. Is CompanyCam the right product for me? Who needs to be using your product?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's two different. I've always put it into two different buckets, right? It's the contractor that wants to utilize photos for specific reasons. That could be proof of work is required to get paid if you're dealing with insurance companies or property managers, that sort of stuff. That's kind of a subsection, though. I think the larger thing about CompanyCam is, it is for really any industry, because photos are taken for a couple really important reasons, right? The first big one is just internal communication, right? Knowing what's going on job sites across your whole company, right? But the second big one would be liability protection, right? Making sure that if you go out and spend 15 man hours doing a job, you're not eating that on the back end because a customer calls you 6 months later and accuses you of scratching their floors or something like that. And then the third part, across every industry is, the world that we live in right now, every single one of your customers that a contractor is going to interface with is very comfortable and gets a lot of knowledge out of actual photo documentation. It's kind of where we've moved our society as a whole, right? Very photo forward. So if you're trying to build that relationship with your customer, right, you're trying to educate them throughout the sales process, throughout the actual production process, and then gain their business going forward. Giving them visual proof of what you're doing, why you're doing it, that sort of stuff. It goes a long way further than a couple line items on an Excel spreadsheet, as you would say, right? So it's really for any industry, I would say, and our numbers kind of prove that out. We're pretty much in every of the 7 or 8 big contracting industries.
Which is interesting because, David, with JobProgress, I remember meeting you at a roofing conference, but you guys handle so much more than just roofing. And it seems like that's the same thing for CompanyCam. It's not one industry. It's really the blue collar industries in general. Anybody who needs that documentation, that protection, or just a better way to go about, getting your jobs into production. David, my final question for you is this. Walk us through a little bit of how this process could work, because I think it could be pretty special. About you taking these pictures with a CompanyCam, you could really start to develop a proposal almost on site right there with a customer. Is that correct? What could you do literally on the spot between both of your companies?
Sure. Well, Mike, I also wanted to add to Mike's last comment before we move forward. I think a lot of the contractors appreciate centralized sort of collection of all the photographic data as well, as opposed to it being on individual salespeople's phones. And so CompanyCam allows you to centralize that data and that photographic collection. That's a huge selling point from the old days where you'd have 25 employees and each would have that data on their own individual devices. It isn't really a company asset as much as it is when it's in a system like CompanyCam. And when that type of data can then be seamlessly connected to things like sales enablement, estimate proposal development, coming up with a price, right? Understanding where the problems lay in terms of repairs and things like that, honing in on problem areas. It really, we could name literally, Patrick, 1,000 uses for photographs, right? If not more. A picture's worth how many words, Mike? 1 million? Is that what they said?
A zillion, yeah. And to David's point, like, I think this is why this integration partnership is so strong. Is our ethos has always just been, we will, from the point of capture, automate the entire process of organization, dissemination throughout your company, right? Like you take a photo, everything else is done. Now you just have to decide as a company, like what you want to do with these photos, right? And that's where I think JobProgress becomes very powerful as an integration partner. Is we're providing them all of these inputs, photos, for them then to, as David could attest to generate a bunch of really powerful outputs that I don't think there's much of a peer in the industry for what they're putting together for customers.
I appreciate that.
And with you guys working so well together, my final question, either one of you can answer or answer it separately. It's not free to be able to use what you guys do, but is there an advantage to doing them together as far as cost is concerned, integrating them together? How does somebody go about making sure they get the best of both worlds at the best price? And both of you can answer. I'm not sure how.
Well, I can tell you from our end, I know that we offer special pricing, partner pricing for CompanyCam. If you go to CompanyCam/JobProgress, I believe it is, CompanyCam.com/JobProgress, you'll get that. And then in terms of the opposite way, in-app, in settings, integration partners, CompanyCam is the first one up there. And so, that sort of lends itself. It's really easy and it's affordable both ways. I mean, we give through company CRM, Patrick, that no credit card, 1 month trial. If you're already a CompanyCam company, you can take advantage of that. And if you're not using CompanyCam and you're in company CRM and you have that 1 month trial, just go to settings, integration partners, and you can actually register for CompanyCam from within JobProgress. And it's kind of that easy.
Yeah, and it works the same way for us. We provide a specific partnership discount, which you can take a look at CompanyCam.com/JobProgress or JobProgress.com/CompanyCam if you're going the other way. Same deal. Like if you are, in CompanyCam, kind of checking out CompanyCam and you want to check out JobProgress, we give you 2 weeks from the day you actually set up that integration to field test it. No billing information required. It's completely free to test that out.
Here. And Patrick, what I really love about it is we have to do this another follow-up one day, because I think back to the people, the contractors that actually experience both products and actually use them together. And they're excited, like they're really passionate. They're not saying, oh, I'm disappointed or I'm not happy or this is too expensive or this does, like they're saying, wow, I'm taking all these amazing photos. The customers are happy. We're using that information. We're closing the jobs. We're doing everything we need to do to satisfy the needs of what I consider to be like 360-degree quality control. And that goes from that first moment you are able to pull in information to getting paid for the job, right? It's really exciting that we live in a day and time where companies can actually interact like this and provide that high value to the customers that they're wanting. I mean, it's great.
I think you're absolutely right. What you guys have just said, and Mike, you said it. What you're being able to use these pictures for, a better customer experience. You're protecting yourself as a contractor. You're able to use those pictures to generate the things like the reports, like the contracts, all the stuff that JobProgress is able to do. I thought that was a great point right there, Mike. And I'll leave it to the both of you, but I just want to thank you both for joining me and tell us a little bit about this integration, because if one person is using one and not the other, I know, David, you've said before, just get a CRM if you're a company. We know you'll come around to JobProgress, but whatever you're doing, just get one.
Yes.
And I hope that people will give both of your companies a shot together, because this seems like something that's very powerful. It's very nice to be able to talk to you both.
Appreciate you, Patrick. It's always nice to work with CompanyCam. We really appreciate them as a company and as a product.
Yeah. Last thing I would say is we are only ever going to be one thing, a really, really good photo capture tool. And being an industry agnostic tool that spans, whatever industry vertical you're working in, JobProgress is a very valuable partnership, not only in their ability to work across multiple verticals, but in the customization that JobProgress affords you. Like whatever kind of workflow works for you as a company, JobProgress can help set that up. And that's kind of our ethos as well, is like, we will help you with the capture. You just decide how you want to use it, what you want to use that for those photos for. So.
It's a no-brainer, man. No one's forcing anybody to use anything. It's just you should be. If you're not, then you're making a mistake. So I appreciate it. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks so much. And Mike, I'll talk to you soon. Same back at you, David.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks, Patrick. Thanks, David.